difficult for me not to.
Bad words are approved. We are live. What's up, everybody? What's up, friendly neighborhood?
Boom. He literally said.
And
there it is.
Here we are.
You're doing.
Did I go? Oh, I'm doing the thing again. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. Anyway, what's up? What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? It's IFLC live from the apocalypse. We have some very special guests today. So, Judah Rad, you all know me. We got Robo over here, and we also have Nicole Goux. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Goux, but you were close.
Go. Oh, I was close. Thank you. Nicole Goux and Dave Baker, the creative team behind Everyone is Tulip from Dark Horse Comics. And we're super excited to talk about it.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So real quick, just get this out of the way. Delirium Hour, our Sandman book club, starts with its inaugural episode on the 27th of June. Pride or Die, 25th of June. And then Club Valiant, 2nd of June, will be our 4th episode. We're going to be talking about Harbinger, so get ready for that. Also, upcoming interviews, Fred Van Lente, Tom Brevoort, Alex Pagnadell, Matt Kent, Robert Vendetti, and more. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe.
Like this video. Do it.
And like the video. And maybe make some comments. Or not. It's no pressure. So real quick, before we talk about Everyone is Tulip, what have the three of you been nerding out on lately?
Well,
yeah, no, you
go ahead.
Nope, you started.
Nope, you started.
Dave and I have been watching Loki, so there's that. Us and everybody else. I think we're 2 episodes in, right?
Oh, okay.
It's pretty
so we're at the same
fun so far. Yeah.
Did y'all watch today's?
Not yet. No.
They
probably
died
later tonight.
No.
All the spoiler talk.
Yeah, can you believe it? They killed everyone.
That's it. Those 3 issues.
It's not even called Loki anymore. Now it's like
It's so funny. Yeah. I was watching like TikTok or something earlier, and there was a girl who was like, Marvel's genius for the way that they're structuring Loki, because like in the first episode he lands in the sand and Tony Stark lands in the sand, and this says something about the character development, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. But at the beginning she's like, there's going to be spoilers, and it was literally just like the spoiler was that in the first episode he ends up in the desert. Like that's it.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
ruined
I would have
the
been
whole
so
episode.
mad. How dare you tell me the thing?
How
that
dare
I saw?
you?
What about you, Dave?
I have 2 answers. One is something that's probably a little dorky, but I'm gonna pull this out. I
speaking our language.
I was bad, and I bought something on the internet, and I had it shipped to my house. I bought this Martha Washington from Give Me Liberty, by Frank Miller and Dave Gibbons.
That's
so
dope.
I bought it finally. This is one of those things, like I've got like a little mental list of all of these things that I'm like, oh, someday I'm gonna get that. And this was the cheapest of them. I was like looking on eBay. I was like, how much is that Monkey Man and O'Brien Build-A-Figure from that Toy Biz Indie Comics, like not Marvel Legends thing they did in the mid 2000s?
Right.
$350.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be buying. I love Monkey Man and O'Brien. I'm not going to be buying that anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I wanted a couple stuff for like to put on the shelves behind me, and you can't even barely see them in anyway. But yeah, when I went there, I'm like, ooh, oh, Angela, nice. Oh my god, oh, I still bought it because I suck with money. I don't have that kind of like
self-control.
Debt, whatever.
One
Can't
day,
take it with you. You just say dumb shit like "can't take it with you," and then you're like miserable because you're broke all the time. Yeah.
Nicole and I were just talking about Angela like over the weekend and how funny it is that like the only reason she's like in the Guardians of the Galaxy is because Neil Gaiman won a lawsuit against Todd McFarlane and then sold it to Marvel for $1
out of spite.
Yeah,
it's so funny to me. I mean, look, I'm not taking sides in that thing. Like, you know, that's between Neil and Todd. But man, is it the spitefulness is what's funny to me that you would sell a character to Marvel for $1.
That's incredibly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very spiteful.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna recuperate. Yes, I am. I'm gonna recuperate my Ninja Turtle collection eventually. I had like a whole bunch of them, and then my mom gave them away when I moved out to like the needy or something. So one day I'm gonna get them all back.
You hope
I did manage. I'm not gonna take them from the needy though. I'm gonna purchase them from other people. The needy may keep
the emotionally needy on the internet, because those are the only people like the four of us that are purchasing toys on the internet, but not the literal needy.
Not the literal needy, right? Yeah. I did manage to get my pulls today, which I didn't think I was going to do because I usually race home from work to do this. But I got Brian Michael Bendis Checkmate #1, which I don't know anything about it, but I'll read all Bendis. I got Infinite Frontier. I got Spawn Universe.
Tour, this is my book. This is my book, Spawn.
Yeah, it's my book, Spawn. Got Superman 32. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm like obsessed with this, so I'm pretty stoked for to read this as soon
as... As soon as his computer unfreezes.
Yeah.
Has the James Stokoe issue of Heroes Reborn come out? That one has come out, right? The Rocket and Groot one?
I think it's a tie-in. I don't think there's a main.
Oh, it's not one of the main ones. It's
not a main issue.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I've kind of drifted away from the mainstream stuff a little bit these last couple of years. And when I saw that drawing of Rocket and Groot, where Groot was a machine gun, I was like, James Stokoe drawing Groot machine gun?
That's it. We were just talking about that, like how the excitement. There's a couple different things that are happening that kind of remind us of that old school excitement. And one is this Heroes Reborn thing. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I wasn't gonna like it. I'm like, this looks stupid. And then the covers are not great. And so I'm reading it, and even issue 1, like I'm getting through halfway of issue 1, I'm like, what is going on here? And like he broke Thanos' grip like by flexing his neck, and I'm like, this is stupid. And then something happened. I'm just like,
it was somewhere around somewhere when Hyperion.
That was also, just so you guys know, we just had an earthquake.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That was a fucking earthquake. That was crazy. I mean, it was a soft one. It was a baby one.
It was very small.
It was very small.
What state are you guys in?
California. Yeah.
I guess that. Yeah. That makes
sense.
Yeah,
it happens here. It's just usually that was like a weird, like, it felt like somebody just like tapped my entire building. It just went like.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh yeah, we're fine.
Internet's on, lights are on. I think we're good.
Seems fine. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was an earthquake, except that Dave reacted at the same time that I reacted. I thought it was like the wind.
I saw both of you guys look around. Like, what's happening? Getting swatted. All right.
Yeah. Environmental swatting. I'm sorry. Continue with what you were saying. I fucked that up by
interrupted with an earthquake. I'm like, gosh. Next time, interrupt for something important.
So speaking of groundbreaking books,
hey, that's good. That's good. 1 in 10. I'll give you that one. That was good.
Thank you. So everyone is Tulip from Dark Horse Comics. Apparently, this TPB is.
Hold on. Can I talk about what I'm reading?
Oh yeah. Sure. I thought you. My bad. Sorry.
Get excited about
my tears away.
So.
This will be quick because I know people want to hear about this book, the Tulip book, not what I'm about to hold up. But in honor of Delirium Hour, in which we will be going through the entire Sandman series, how about this bad boy? Make me big. Where am I?
Ooh, I'm gonna embiggen you real quick. Hold on. Boom.
Came in this box.
Ooh.
Pulls out.
A slipcover. Holy shit.
Slipcover.
Fancy.
Look at that. Oh, Volume 1. This is so gorgeous. Like I'm reading them all on Comixology anyway. And I still bought this. Gorgeous. Super gorgeous. Like everybody knows. I say this every week, but I'm a sucker for covers. So Jupiter's Legacy, how'd you like the show? Garbage. I've asked people, I said, hey, how about the books? Is the books good? And I get mixed reviews from, yeah, they're all right to, but this one is shiny and had gold foil on it. So bought it anyway. Venom 700 and then Heroes Reborn 7 and all that. I didn't get anything super cool, but I did like this one.
Did you read Venom yet?
I had not.
Dude, it's dope.
This is really, really good cover. And
baby.
So that's all I just wanted to show. Really, I wanted to show the Sandman book. But
speaking of covers, I actually had a Marvel Action Captain Marvel cover come out today, I think.
Ooh.
So it should be in shops. It's a variant of some kind. I don't remember what type of variant.
It's a retailer incentive variant.
Is it RI? Do you know that or?
Yes,
okay.
100%.
I like that you know that and I don't. It's Marvel Action Captain Marvel retailer incentive out today, apparently.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The only reason I know that is because you were like, hey.
Because we were looking for it.
Yeah,
that's
can
right.
you get me one of these when you go to the shop? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll ask around. And so, yeah, it's a retailer incentive variant. I think you ordered like 5 or 10 of them and you got one of Nicole's covers.
If you do a cover, do they send you one?
Usually they send you a few at least. Depends on the company. You get some comp copies usually if it's a cool company. In fact, a company I just worked for sent me like 20 covers. Oh, you found it. Great. Yeah, that's it. They sent me like 20 of what they thought was the cover that I did for them, but they sent me the standard cover. So now I have like 20 copies of a book I have nothing to do with.
Oh no!
But now you sign them and give them away at.
But it turns out it's a key issue, and in like 30 years, you're going to be a millionaire.
I'm going to be rich.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Okay.
So everything is Tulip from Dark Horse Comics. So the trade drops on June 30th, next Wednesday.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Sweet. Awesome.
So how about we just should just start off with you guys. Give us the elevator pitch. What is this book about?
Yeah, sure. Everyone is Tulip follows a young actress who moves from Arizona to Los Angeles named Becca Harper. And she comes here, in kind of the cliche, like, I want to be a star. I want to make it in Hollywood. And when she gets here, shocker of shockers, she realizes, it's not that hard, not that easy. It's kind of hard. You don't just like walk in and they give you like a contract at a major studio. So she ends up working at a bagel shop in Hollywood and kind of like grinding it out, going to all these shitty auditions after shitty auditions, trying to make a name for herself and isn't really getting anywhere. And then she randomly kind of applies for a thing on Craigslist, which is a YouTube performance art video. And she plays this character in the video called Tulip, where all of the videos are just her looking at camera saying, everyone is Tulip, everyone is Tulip, in these weird, extreme, bizarre, kind of couture dresses and costumes. And they go viral. And it kind of overnight changes her life from being just like a normal person, being a struggling actor, to being this weird internet oddity that everyone knows, but they know the character, they know the persona of Tulip, not her. So our story kind of centers around her, the director of these videos, and a small ensemble cast, as all of these people try and reckon with like, how far are you willing to go to kind of get what you want, to kind of like achieve your dreams, in air quotes. And it's written by me, drawn by Nicole, and colored by Ellie Hall.
Awesome.
Nice. That character you describe, the name's not coming to me right now, but there was a YouTuber where she was like super quiet and talked like a robot and got super viral. There you go, Poppy. Is it kind of like that, where she's kind of like that kind of character?
Yeah. Basically, this is inspired by like maybe 4 or 5 different people that maybe a couple years ago were like really big in this space. There was a performance art troupe called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared that used Muppets online. And they did all these weird, bizarre videos with these like kind of floppy, like Kermit the Frog style Muppets. And then Poppy, and there's a Russian performance artist on Instagram named Dalvita. And there's also a very famous kind of e-girl named Belle Delphine, and all of those people are kind of.
Never heard of her.
No, you didn't buy her bath. I think you bought her bath water.
Yeah.
I think that response is, I'm trying not to say I bought her bath water for $25.
Put that away? No, just kidding. I did not. That's disgusting.
I got the signed bathwater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so all of those things are kind of in the soup, no pun intended, of the bathwater, no pun intended, of our story. It's this kind of, on the surface, it is kind of about being an influencer and having this loss of identity and living on the internet. But it's also, that's kind of like the hook to get you in the door. It's also about kind of artistic integrity and ideas of cultural appropriation and artistic reappropriation, and how our society and culture has just kind of evolved into this weird stasis where people don't actually live their lives. They go out and have experiences so they can take photos and videos of those experiences to post online to make people living their lives jealous that they're not living what the photos and videos say of the people online.
Right.
Someone else's fantasy.
Yeah, totally. So, it's kind of like a dark comedy character drama about all of these people in this world, but drawn way better than it has any right to be, because Nicole and Ellie just fucking crushed.
Kill it.
Yeah, they crushed the artwork.
Awesome. So question for Dave. So I guess fame is not a new concept. It always existed, but it's like never been like it is today.
Totally.
It's like in the current state of fame is like it's so relentless, thirsty, and just constant. And the world is like literally paved with cameras, to the point where like we don't just want people's like public persona, we want their every private moment. And everything is fair game for public consumption. Was there like a watershed moment where it just sort of clicked for you that there needed to be a story about modern internet fame?
Well, I think part of this is that Nicole and I work very collaboratively. So, she's very influential on the stories, and I'm hopefully able to contribute a little bit to the artwork. So we started out kind of examining these people when they really started rising to prominence a couple years ago, and being very obsessed with them and watching all of their videos and following them very closely. And also, my day job is that I work at a new media company. So I'm always in this bathwater. And so, the thing that's interesting to me about this ecosystem, this social ecosystem, is that while fame is omnipresent and is more ubiquitous than it's ever been, where there are more people and it's democratized, so there are more people who are famous than literally ever before, the idea, like old world ideas of fame, like movie stars and even celebrity politicians, are kind of dead. Like, there aren't movie stars anymore. Now there's like people who were movie stars 30 years ago and like people who play superheroes, but they're not famous. The superheroes are famous.
That's
right.
And so that was something that the duality inherent in that is definitely something that both Nicole and I were very interested in, and we talked a lot about. And the book is kind of an interrogation of some of those ideas, and hopefully doesn't have any answers, but more brings up these questions and then filters those questions through various thematic lenses with the ensemble of characters that each reconcile with these crises in different different ways.
Okay. So I gotta say, anytime I've ever seen any kind of story written about, going to LA to find success, or even just social media. So lately, a lot of things around social media, it's always negative. I've never read a good heartwarming story about, isn't social media great? So for both of you,
think social media is great? Like, are you looking for that?
I'm addicted. So maybe like talk to me in 10 more years. I'm like, wow, why did I go through that? But right now I'm fine with it.
Is meth great?
Yeah.
And if you microdose meth, no, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that.
Bro, come to our CEO retreat. We're microdosing meth this weekend. It's going to be great.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to microdose. Oh, he's the CEO.
Fuck.
So question for both of you. Do you think that social media is actively destroying society right now? Is it just a bad thing?
I think that nothing is black and white like that. I think for me personally, as someone who spends a lot of time in my house by myself drawing, social media is kind of how I interact with people. It's how we market our work. It's how we get anybody looking at anything we've ever made. It's how I communicate with my friends. It's how I kind of get feedback on career stuff. I think there's so many positive aspects to social media, and obviously it's entertaining. We all spend a ton of time on it. Do I think it's healthy? Not really. But I don't think that you can say just, this is good, this is bad. Everything is there. These things exist for a reason. People like them, people want them. So obviously there's going to be good sides to it, but people like cigarettes, people like meth, people like all of these things that might not be great for them in the long run. So I think it's both.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that the slight distinction being that we are entering a brave new world of how we interact with technology. I think there's tangible, definitive upsides to social media, like increased calls for accountability, Me Too movement, the Arab Spring, political revolutions literally happening because of Twitter. That is very, very positive. The flip side of that is that sword cuts both ways, and then you get QAnon, and you get the insurrection at the Capitol, where we came within like a hair's breadth of living in a banana fucking republic run by neo-Nazis. And we still might get there. Give it till 2024, baby.
That's right. Yeah. Catapulted by social media. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, would those things have happened in a world where social media didn't exist? Maybe. Would they have happened the same way? No, 100% not. There have always been conspiracy theorists. The issue is that there always haven't been omnipresent artificial intelligent computers force-feeding people things that reinforce their already pre-existing biases. And that's what algorithmically served content is. It's a fucking demigod in your hand saying, what's the thing that you believe but you're too nervous to tell anybody? I'm going to reinforce that and make you feel less alone and give you a permission structure to start wearing that repugnant, vile disease as a standard bearer for who you are and what you believe. Yeah. And that is terrifying.
And then you're a psycho.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
But you also have positive, social change that comes from that. So
yeah. Like you said, I think that's always been like that. But you're right, where now that reaches. So if I'm a QAnoner or I'm a white supremacist or something, I have my community. I have to find the other people within at least my zip code, maybe a couple counties around I can drive to. But now you can have a part of this internet community that has people literally across the globe, or the plate that we call Earth.
Somehow flat Earth became a thing, and I don't think it necessarily would have become a thing.
It absolutely has. I interviewed Mark Sargent, and the reason why Flat Earth, Mark Sargent, if anybody doesn't know, Mark Sargent is the guy who is commonly attributed as the person who reintroduced flat Earth theory and kind of got it going through a YouTube channel called Flat Earth Theories. And they're so stupid. They're so poorly made. He's a fucking idiot. Like he's a moron. But his tactic is so interesting because he's almost the reverse Trump, where Trump is angry and pure hubris and everything that anyone who's not in a position of power aspires to be. Mark Sargent is the opposite, where he's pure white privilege, just like, I don't know, man. I just look out on my window and I don't see any curves. I don't know. It doesn't look, I don't know, man. Maybe we live in a snow globe and there's a Goro god and like you're all special and unique. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
You're right. Like, presentation is super important when it comes to stuff like that.
It really is.
It's frustrating to hear. Like if I get this basketball wet and I spin it, what happens to the water? Look, I'm just asking questions here. What happens to the water?
I'm just asking what happens to the water. Yeah, and like
do your own research.
Yeah, and like I talked to him for probably about an hour and a half, and initially, honestly, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I have a podcast called Deep Cuts where we walk through obscure or bizarre topics in an explainer format, and we were not going to talk to Mark Sargent, because what the fuck are you going to talk to that guy about? He's a moron. Right. He's spreading ignorance. That's what he does, and he profits off of it, right?
I mean, I would definitely be curious, just as pure curiosity.
There it is, yeah, morbid curiosity,
which is exactly what it turned into. Because over the course of making that episode, we started joking around about like what a moron this guy was.
Why is it daytime in some places and like nighttime in other places?
Yeah, do you know that's true? Have you ever been to both places at once? No, I don't think so. Do your own research.
What if
maybe Australians don't exist and they're all actors?
That's right. Australia. That's actually one of the conspiracies, by the way.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's the best thing. The best part of any conspiracy is how organized they think the rest of the world is to manufacture these conspiracies.
Yeah. You just gotta look at the fringe of conspiracy theories to really have fun. Like Australia doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
like to flat earthers, Australia doesn't exist. Those crazy.
I've never seen Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's kind of where it I invited him on the show literally to make fun of him. Like I invited him on the show, and I somehow over the course of the show we started talking about mid-2000s emo bands. So I invited him on the show and started asking him questions of like, have you ever had a wallet chain? Mark, have you ever had the emo side, the bangs thing? Have you ever had the bangs? Yeah. Have you ever had a shotgun? Did you ever do your hair as a shotgun?
Is he pretend or real? Like, is he pretend flat Earth, or is he for real?
No, he's like, well, that's an interesting question. In public, yes, he's 100% real. I personally think that he's not. I personally think that he is a very sad, lonely man who made a video that he probably actually did think, and then so many people responded to it. He was like, "Oh, this is my identity now. I'm just going to be this guy." And
you got to get a couple beers in him and be like, "So really, Mark?"
Well, yeah, he also said that he owned a comic book store and then didn't know how to pronounce Bill Sienkiewicz's last name. And I was like, "Bitch, you didn't fucking own a comic book store."
Come on, a lot of people in comics, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a real barometer.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's a reason he have on his San Diego booth. He has the actual pronunciation up on there.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
Fabian Nicieza does it too. Like
on his Twitter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. When you're anyway, we don't have to keep talking about this. We can move on.
I do want to keep. I actually do want to keep talking about it. Let's circle back. Interesting.
After we get done talking about comics, like, all right, so flat earthers, right? No.
Right. And Department of Truth, by the way, brilliant series, really kind of gets into it as well. But question for Nicole. So back to Everyone is Tulip for just a moment. Question for Nicole. A lot of these panels are like you're kind of illustrating a digital interaction, which I'm not an artist, but I imagine is like kind of a challenge. So was it difficult to keep that something that leans so heavily on that type of movement or action? Was it difficult to keep it like fresh and not repetitive, which by the way, it wasn't, or like, what was kind of your thought process about that?
For me, I kind of just find that interesting. Like that's opportunities to find places to explore, find new ways to do things. Dave and I are both really interested in the formal aspects of comics and different ways to tell a story on a page. So a lot of the times our stories actually come from one of us having a formalist idea and being like, okay, so what's a story that we can tell that relates to this formalist idea? How do we pull this into the story we're working on and make it actually make sense and not just like sprinkling, whatever just for the sake of it? And how do we make it integral to the story? So when we went in to do this story that is the majority of the book is about the internet and social media, we already had kind of developed this structure in the last book that we did where we discovered that the shape of a phone, or most iPhones currently, are the same dimensions as a panel in a 9-panel grid. And so we basically took that idea and then just expanded on it. And so every time that we had, someone on the internet or someone, on social media, then I get to find new ways to show pop-ups of little Instagram things or how to show a scroll or show that the actual literal color of the internet is different from the color of the real world. And those, instead of being a challenge, are more opportunities to find interesting ways to portray that stuff for me.
Yeah, the thing that I would add on to that if you're not familiar with, like, if you're a comics fan, but you don't really necessarily always think about how they're made, think of it like this. Every movie right now has slow motion where the camera moves at a normal speed, right? It's just a thing that's in our culture. And it's not necessarily tied into the thematics or the logistics of what's happening in the movie. It's just a narrative mechanic that directors use because it's cool looking. But that comes directly from The Matrix, and it was originally called Bullet Time. And in the movie, the moment that Neo becomes the one, he embraces his full potential and is able to move so fast that he dodges bullets. Which, exactly, it's that scene, that shot, the like scene. And that moment, they didn't know how they were going to do that, but the Wachowskis were so smart because they built the character arc around a visual narrative mechanic. So both of those things are working in unison. And for our book, the stories about living on your phone, about this kind of isolation that can come from that, about the kind of compromises that are inherent in it, how sometimes it can feel like a jail. And so in those 9-panel grids, you have repeating panels and repeating patterns where there'll be a diamond shape that are all just phones, or an X that's just phones, which all thematically play into how the story works. Now, am I saying that our book is as good as The Matrix? I don't fucking know. But
but that's for y'all to decide.
Yeah, exactly. but they're related. Like, so much of kind of, especially Big Two comics is like, okay, I understand what a splash page, why it's there, but a lot of times because it's a conveyor belt system and there's a writer and an artist as two distinct and separate entities, there's like jagged sideways panels and weird, collage work and imagery, which is not necessarily related to what's happening, because you have to make those books in 15 minutes. So I get it. I'm not throwing a stone at anybody, but it's just a shortcoming of that way of making comics, where when Nicole and I are working on this thing together as a unit for a prolonged period of time, you get work that is just objectively more integrated. Whether it's better or not for me to say, but it is more cohesive and holistic.
Makes a lot of sense. That's
sense.
Good. Nicole, so as the artist, I'm sure you worked pretty closely with Ellie Hall. How involved with the coloring were you? Or was that just all?
Pretty involved. Yeah. Okay. So we pitched this book with, I think, 8 pages that I did full color on. And the palette that I developed for the book is the palette that we used, essentially.
Okay.
So I came up with numerous kind of color ideas. I developed a palette, this kind of theme of everything in the internet being this light blue versus the pinks of the modern day versus the purples of the flashback stuff. That's all stuff that I kind of, before we even started talking to Ellie, had kind of landed on.
Okay.
But if you were to look at my pages that I did versus the pages that Ellie did, her pages are beautiful. And the decisions, it's one thing to be like, this is the rough idea. This is kind of what I want it to look like. These are the big, scope ideas. But then to go and put that into execution and do every page and the way that those pages are colored, that's all Ellie. I mean, I went in later and, we talked about it heavily with her through the whole process, and I, tweaked a couple things here and there at the very end. But really, the heavy load and the heavy lifting of the work, that's all Ellie. So,
So we really liked the whole, the alternating between the monochromatic and the bright colors that was there. What was the process between that? When you guys are deciding how to color a page, what's your process?
Was that in the script? Was the purple flashback stuff in? I don't remember if that was.
Yes.
It was?
The flashback stuff is in those sample pages that I did.
Oh, okay.
Because we have that first page of Becca on that outlook with
Becca and Jack on the weird outlook looking over the city. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in terms of like physically doing the pages, we have a flatter. We have, honestly, I don't consider myself a really strong colorist. So I let the page tell me what it's doing. Like I have like, I think I want the main colors to be pinkish. And then I just kind of like throw colors at a page, and it's not a good way to do things, which is one of the reasons I didn't sit down and do 200 pages of color, because I'm really slow and I don't have a plan when I go into things, and it makes everything take a lot longer. But you know, the ideas, the like general ideas of, I want the look of the book to be kind of this soft pinkish hue. I want all of the internet stuff to be this like really light ethereal blue. That comes from the content that we were looking at, that the book is based on. So these YouTubers have a very specific feel to the
content
videos that they make. Yes, the content that they make. And I really, really wanted to capture that feel in the book, as well as the difference between that feel and the mundanity of everyday life. So like, it's got this ethereal kind of translucent color to it, which is really hard to do in CMYK printing for print, because you don't have the light coming through your page. You don't have the movement and the sound that comes along with the video, which are really, the sound design on those videos is incredible and really important to the feel of stuff. And you don't have any sound in comics. It's really hard to kind of portray that. And I did my best with some of the speech bubbles and different types of things to kind of show that this isn't just a girl standing in front of a camera talking normally. Like, it's weird. I want it to feel weird. And my main idea was like, I think it started with, I want the video stuff to look weird and feel ethereal, and then that expanded to everywhere in the book where the internet is represented, whether it's an actual video, someone holding a phone, a Instagram feed, anything like that, then that is represented with the same color. And I was able to tell Ellie, like, hey, these are the places that it needs to be this color, but go at it and do your thing. And she did an amazing job.
Awesome. Definitely. Cool. So where can people watching this video get their hands on this? Because yeah, I think a lot of people, if anyone who hasn't read it, definitely after watching this will want to read it.
And the cover looks way better than this washed out thing.
Yeah.
It's not that bright in person.
It kind of looks like this.
Yeah, it's adjacent to this visual. So if you want to read the first 60 or so pages, we're serializing it online at everyoneistulip.com. It's totally for free. 3 pages a week go up. And there's also like some director's commentary or creator's commentary videos where Nicole and I sit down and break down page by page what's happening, why that we made various choices, which is probably not interesting to anyone, but you're trying to give the people some cool stuff.
Right.
That's fun.
Are you missing a page?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
I think I just mistyped something. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that also is very
washed out.
Wow. No, this is exactly how it looks. No, it does. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so if you want to sample it or read a chunk of it, you can right there. If you want to buy the book, it is currently up for pre-order everywhere you would order pre-orderable books. If you want to give old Daddy Bays some money, you can. If you want to give, some
your local shop.
Yeah, go to a local shop. There's links to do that on the site too. Or you can just show up to your local comic book store next Wednesday, because that's when the book comes out. June 30th. Next Wednesday is theoretically when the book comes out, barring some shipping fuck up or something.
Right.
Does it have a slipcover?
I wish, man.
If only. Yeah. It does have gloss, spot gloss on it.
It does have spot gloss. Yeah, let me hold on. I've got one right here.
That's good.
Ooh,
got one right here. Look at this.
Let's take a little look. Let me embiggen you real quick.
Embiggen. Ooh.
Oh, whoops. Okay, there we go.
Embiggen.
There it is.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
I'm going to pick that up. Everyone.
That's shiny.
Yeah. But see, it's cool because this is shiny, and then this is not shiny. Ooh, how crazy.
Duality. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be available in comic book stores nationwide next Wednesday. Or if you hate comic book stores and you just are comfortable going to Barnes & Noble, July 14th is supposedly when it's coming out in bookstores.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess
awesome.
Danny M said Comixology July 14th as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
it's good to know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You talked about your podcast. You want to plug that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna re-upload this.
Yeah. I run a podcast at a deep dive explainer podcast with my friend Andrew Price. It's called Deep Cuts. You can find it wherever you find podcasts. And the high concept is that we pick a topic each week and then walk the listener through the ins, the outs, and the nitty-gritty so they can appear like an interesting and idiosyncratic person at their next forced social function. We've done episodes about all kinds of stuff, from the guy who killed himself today, John McAfee, who is a crazy person.
Absolutely. And a grifter.
And a grifter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So a human being died, so that's sad. But
that's very sad.
It's also John McAfee, so we'll live.
It's very sad that a human being died, but also he took over a small town or a small village in Belize and started a guerrilla army and was trying to literally take over the country.
Right.
He's not a good person.
Yeah, my sadness has limits.
Yeah. No shit. But we did a 3-hour episode all about him. We did an episode about the file sharing service Napster and how it fundamentally changed the music industry. But we did it as a 2-hour musical with 11 original songs that Andrew and I both sing.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's dope. In that episode, did you guys talk about Metallica at all?
Who do you think we are? Come on. Do you think we also didn't both do really bad Lars Ulrich impersonations? Because we did.
That's awesome. Nicole, go. Do you have anything on your plate cooking outside of?
Actually, Dave and I have a book that we're working on that comes out next year, probably summer of 2022. From Simon & Schuster. It's called Forest Hills Bootleg Society, and it is about a group of high school girls in 2005 who go to a very conservative Christian high school, and they start selling bootleg hentai to their male classmates as a way to make some money and get some popularity within the school. And it, of course, devolves and destroys all of their relationships and their, academic life and all of that good stuff. So
that sounds awesome.
That'll be out next year. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
all right.
Awesome.
Cool. So at this point, we talked about where you guys are going to go. Are you guys good to hang around for maybe 20 more minutes? We're going to go over some news a little bit.
Baby, I ain't got nowhere to be.
Awesome.
All right. Awesome.
Sweet. So first kind of headline we have, surprising no one, Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman are sharing a cryptic teaser for an upcoming comic book project following their departure from Marvel's Venom. I'm thinking this is going to in some way relate to them writing the Hulk. Cates captioned his tweet with the phrase, "This story isn't over. I'm not done. They don't get to walk away. #stay tuned." While Stegman captioned his post with "transmission complete for now." And what wasn't said, but probably will be said sometime in the next 24 hours is, "You are not ready."
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but we're not ready, and we're going to lose our minds.
We're going to lose our minds.
It's not Marvel.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't a couple weeks ago, didn't he say that he was like, who said our next thing is going to be for Marvel? Which is
in this stream of images today, on this stream of images, if you scroll down more, they did a couple different in this style, and one of them says, I can't remember the name right now. I probably should look it up. Something Publishing. Like they say it's like I think if I have to guess, they're starting their own publishing company.
Interesting.
I think
that would be cool.
I gotta know more about this. Scroll down. Let me see this shit. They're starting their own publisher? That'd be awesome. I would love that.
Maybe. This is just a picture, but I'm gonna look it up. Yeah.
That'd be great. I hope that's true.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't think that's true, but I hope that's true. The only reason why I say I don't think that's true is because starting a publisher is fucking hard. And Donnie and Ryan have been around for a while, and I think they probably both know how hard it is.
You're right.
Yeah, but then again, they're also incredible. They're probably among the most hardworking people just in the business as far as like sheer volume of output. So I don't know. Maybe they just don't
I would
sleep.
love to be
I don't
wrong.
know.
That'd be great if there was another cool indie publisher. I'd love that.
That would be awesome.
So that's a tweet.
As long
right
as
there.
it's not an IP farm.
Right.
KLC Press is one of the other images that
Yes.
Kids love chains. Kids love chains. Press.
Kids love chains. Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. Kids love chains.
Which means that's their shit.
Is it
That's their
though, or
shit.
does that mean they're doing something at Image? Like that's what that to me says.
It might be that they're doing something at Image.
They're doing something at Image.
Oh,
and
like an imprint, maybe?
like Skybound or Top Cow, something like that.
So not starting their own company, but I mean, Top Cow and Skybound are their own thing, so that would still be kind of cool.
The way Image works is like an imprint of Image is its own publisher within Image, and it's largely autonomous. Like they own their own IP. They basically run their own shop. So it's kind of like his own company, but it'll have Image written on the cover too.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
I hope that's what it is. That'd be really cool. Because wasn't there an announcement like 2 years ago where there was going to be a bunch of pop-up imprints that were going to be through Image? Like Scott Snyder was going to do one. Jeff Johns was going to do one. I think Warren Ellis was going to do one. Yikes.
I think Jeff already...
Yeah, I know. Jeff Johns already has his thing kind of set up. It's called Mad Ghost.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good so far, that Geiger book.
Yeah, I haven't read it. Is it cool?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like popcorn fun, but it's fun. Yeah.
They released a glow-in-the-dark cover. I have that one.
There is a glow-in-the-dark cover, yeah.
The 90s, man. They're alive and well.
So you kind of did our transition for us, but speaking of Warren Ellis, Warren Ellis returning to comics with Image and Ben Templesmith. So Ben Templesmith revealed on his Instagram and Patreon that he and Warren will reteam to continue their creator-owned title Fell and Image, which admittedly have not read or even heard of. I don't know where I've been, but this was originally published for 9 issues back in 2005, and then Fell's been on hiatus since 2008. He did not mention Warren Ellis's recent controversy over his horrible predatory behavior. So the return of Fell marks Warren Ellis's first apparent new comic book work since the allegations of the sexual misconduct were levied against several young women. Yeah, I guess that's happening. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Will not has anyone read Fell?
Yes. Warren Ellis has grown and changed and made up for anything since that happened.
Not by any statement he's made, that's for sure.
Not by a statement. Apparently, so according to the I can't remember the name of the website, but the website from all of the victims of his behavior, he's reached out to some of them. So many of us.com, that's the one. So he's reached out to some of them and offered what was considered kind of like a half-hearted, like almost like damage control apology. But there's like it's like 200 people or something, 200 women,
almost 100. Yeah.
The statement that they put out today said that he has not reached out to them.
Oh,
I'm just going off the front page of the website.
Let me find it. I was just talking with somebody else about this because it's yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird. It's a sad thing. Look. Do I think that Warren Ellis should go away forever? I don't know, but I don't think that there's been enough attempted growth or a sincere, real look at himself in the mirror. There's no way there could be, especially because, like, in case anybody doesn't remember, Fell won a bunch of Eisners, and the story behind it, the reason why it never finished is he lost a hard drive, in air quotes. I don't know what that means. That's what he always says, is he lost a hard drive with a couple scripts on it, and he just didn't want to keep doing it anymore because he didn't want to rewrite those scripts or whatever. So the book just stopped. But it was like a very critically acclaimed book at the time. It was during the time where Image was trying to do 16-page single issues for $1.99. It's the same kind of little experiment that spawned Casanova, which is my all-time favorite comic, period. And so this like maneuver this like chess move of what is the thing that I personally have that I could use as a wedge issue to get back in the game is just, it's very Craven to me personally. Like I look at it and I can see Warren Ellis looking at this and being like, what is the thing that I know a certain percentage of people, even if they're pissed off at me, will buy because this thing is unfinished?
So it puts people in between a rock and a hard place where they either fully cancel Warren Ellis, or they have to give in and get this story that they've been waiting for however many years.
Because this book isn't like his magnum opus, like definitive statement. This isn't his like, I got one more statement to make about the world of comics, and then I'm going away forever to live on a mountain and think on my sins. This is, my identity is tied to being a cartoonist. Without this, I don't know who I am, but I'm not willing to put in the work and go to therapy and try and figure out how to make amends. So I'm going to do this, which will be the first maneuver. And then once this comes out, I can say, the world didn't end when I did that other comic. So how about I do another one and another one and another one?
That's right. Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes. There's a lot of, I think I might be a little bit more harsher than the overall community. Like, I don't know. I just, when I look at people like that just cannot bring themselves to go, hey, I was a piece of shit, to where you have the entire so many of us.com and you start looking through that and I'm like, wow, this is bad. Even so many of us they're able to say, we're not trying to punish him. Hey, remember, there's a lot of other people that work on these projects. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people that work on an R. Kelly concert too, but I mean, don't work for them. Like, you know what I mean? So obviously I wouldn't put, as far as if we're just talking about spectrum of harm, I don't know if I put him on R. Kelly's level, but when you sit there and go, hey, I'm presenting you with this, here is nearly 100 women who and non-binary people to say this is what's going on, and then your reaction is, as far as I can tell, my bad.
Like
let me go be quiet for a year. No.
The statement that he made was basically like, I never considered myself a celebrity. I thought this was all in good faith of like, two consenting adults, where it's like, bro, you were trolling your own fan forum, sending women the exact same messages. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not cool, man. Yeah. Like, and again,
and then even outside of him, Templesmith's decision to basically give him a seal of approval by agreeing to do a new project with him.
That's it.
You know?
That's it.
It's like, I'm sorry, I don't care how much money you need. Like, I get it. Everybody's got to pay their bills. There's going to be another project.
That's right.
By agreeing to do a new project with this person, you're saying, it wasn't that bad.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that just, there's a lot of way to go on the whole Me Too movement. And off topic, I mean, Chris Brown's was just in the news, recently. Same deal. Yep. And yet, me and my wife were talking about it, and like it's disgusting. Yet, just wait. Just like Warner, it's like all Chris Brown has to do is just kind of like not going, just not do anything. Be quiet. Don't tweet for like 8 months. He'll drop a track and everyone's like, I mean, he's bad, but man, isn't this so, you know what I mean? And that's what's happening with these books. It's like, okay. I mean, he didn't murder anybody. I got to buy this book. And I'm like, okay, that's why the line of this predatory behavior never really fully gets pushed, because unless, and you can look at racism, right? Unless you're wearing a white pointed hood, it's not that bad. It's like, it has to be at the extreme for anybody to do shit, and it's gross.
Yeah, just for the record, so the statement that the statement that so many of us put out today was update June 23, 2021. When we published so many of us.com on July 13th, 2020, we expressly did not want to, quote unquote, cancel author Warren Ellis. Rather, we shared constructive ways to address the all too common issue of powerful men's abusive behavior. We challenged people to rethink past actions and consider how and why they may have facilitated harmful behaviors and environments. We called for openness, accountability, and growth, extending an offer to work with Ellis on some form of transformative justice. Since his public statement a year ago, to the knowledge of these authors, to the knowledge of these authors, Ellis has not taken direct responsibility for his destructive behavior, nor attempted to tackle the circumstances that allow such behavior to go on unchecked, both on and offline.
How can you not take that offer?
Yeah.
You'd think if there's one way, if you quote unquote get canceled, the one way to get it out of it is to work with people who are willing to like walk you through. Yeah, the people who you hurt. If they're willing to, you know, say like, hey, this is what you need to do to make this better, you should fucking do it. Like that's the only way to get out of this. Or, you know, just
it was generous.
Society sucks.
It's generous of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many people who are victims of something like that who just don't have the bandwidth to deal with their fucking abuser. And the fact that these people were willing to, you know, make this a learning experience for him is incredible. And he just didn't care.
Yeah.
Didn't care.
And that's the key right there for me. That's like the rub. Like if it all boils down to one thing, it's like a lot of times people come out and give their very PR, you know, apology, and they go to counseling and stuff. And there's going to be a portion of society, and maybe even me a little bit, that's going to go, yeah, right. You're doing this so you can get back into going to work. But even that is something. Even that is like, okay, you came out and said that I'm a piece of shit and I'm going to be better. And even if I want to blame, I want to say you're lying, at least you did that. Where else want to even do that? Like, it's like, so just automatically, I don't even have to make assumptions. You don't think you did anything wrong. You think that because it wasn't, you know, the extreme in predatory behavior, then your refusal to say anything is volumes in and of itself. And so, bottom line, I don't give a fuck about Fell, and I will not be supporting his work.
Well, especially too, like there's this weird thing where like a lot of people keep comparing his behavior to like rock star behavior, where they're like, "All rock stars do this, man," which is like, okay, how many rock stars do you know that have a form seduction email that they copy and paste to hundreds of people? I don't know that many.
The other part of that argument is that it's not okay that rock stars do it either.
That's right. There you go. That's right. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. Hey, listen.
Spoilers, baby.
Spoilers.
No spoilers.
This is where I'm not going to spoil anything. What I will say, no spoiler. Okay. What I will say is that if you want to spoil yourself, you can Google Loki merchandise, and there will be.
I know your reaction's about. We don't do spoilers the week of. If you've never seen this character before,
you're just behind.
Yeah, sorry. That was last week. That was last week.
I mean, I personally, I'm lucky in that I have watched this with Nicole. She even said at the beginning of the episode we watched it, so I know who the character is. But also, like, Disney.
I mean, that's the reveal of the last couple episodes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Right. So here's the thing. We're not going to say the spoiler. Were you finished? Do you want to give your?
Yeah.
I mean,
go.
I was just going to say I like J. Michael Straczynski's Thor stuff. That was cool, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So there you go. Do with that as you will, but we're not.
There is a toy out there. There's a toy that's been released. If you want to spoil it for yourself, just watch this episode from today. Find out what their name is, and Google that plus merchandise plus history of that character, and there'll be your spoiler. There be your spoiler, and then we can talk more about it next week on
and it'll be your fault, not ours, because we're not saying anything. So this is super exciting, I think. Black Manta is getting his own spin-off series. So the series is going to be written by Chuck Brown with art by Valentine Delandro. Mm-hmm. It's spinning out of the Manta featured story in the big square-bound Aquaman 80th anniversary 100-page spectacular. And it introduces a new hero by the name of Torrid, as well as a new villain by the name of Devil Ray. So the irony is that Devil Ray sounds more like a one-on-one comparison to Black Manta's name than Black Manta is to Aquaman, making this a classic example of the superhero evil twin trope. Even though the one who's getting an evil twin is already kind of an evil twin of an existing hero. So anyway, whatever.
Comics, right? Comics, am I right?
Comics, fucking comics. But yeah,
the soap opera of books.
But yeah, I mean, I love Black Manta. And definitely stoked for that. I like what's going on in Aquaman right now too. It's pretty awesome. I really liked the Kelly Sue run.
Mm-hmm. I like Black Manta's helmet.
That's my favorite thing we actually had a show who did a one shot. Say what?
I said I like Black Manta's helmet. That's my favorite thing about Black Manta.
Yeah.
I wish more characters had giant dumb helmets like that.
Yeah, I think he has the biggest helmet. I can't even think of a larger helmet.
Maybe the Living Tribunal because he has 3 faces.
Yeah, I guess
but
so.
It's not as wide though. It's just more.
Well, he's also unfathomable. He's not even the concept of size doesn't even really apply to him. So he's like beyond size. So I guess maybe that makes it the largest.
Is that a helmet though?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, I mean, if we're going by like that, I guess maybe it would be Galactus because doesn't he have
Galactus?
The
it is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's it.
So maybe I should have phrased it as what's the largest helmet in proportion to the body?
I mean, does Mysterio rank? That's pretty.
That is a big helmet.
That's a big helmet. Yeah.
I don't know if this big, but that's
not
big.
a useful helmet.
Not quite as. No.
Yeah, I have a pretty big melon already, and I like bang my head on cars and stuff, and I walk around like a toddler. I can't imagine wearing this helmet at all. Like that's got to be annoying.
There's a character in I think it's Discovery, the newest season of Discovery, who has a helmet that looks basically just like this.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I like a good big helmet. Give me a good big helmet. Take my money.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, just before we move on from big helmets, have you ever seen the Japanese Star Wars ripoff Message from Space?
No. But I definitely want to.
Bro. It's a big helmet.
There's some big helmets in that show. It's a movie. Basically, it came out in '79. So as soon as Star Wars came out, a Japanese production company got together with an American production company, and they're like, we're going to cast a couple of American actors and a couple of Japanese actors, and we're going to make a Star Wars ripoff so that we can put this out the summer after, or whatever it is. Maybe it came out in '78. I don't remember. Whatever. We're going to put it out like immediately after Star Wars comes out because it was such a big hit, and it's the most expensive movie made in Japanese history up to that point, and it is the most bizarre Star Wars ripoff you've ever seen. But the cool thing about it is that all of the costumes were designed by Shotaro Ishinomori, the guy who co-created Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. So all of the
Kamen Rider,
all the masks and stuff are like they're basically
Saban vibes. Almost.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, really, Saban is. I mean, those are the same costumes. They just,
that's
legally took them or whatever.
So I was imagining like Spaceballs helmet.
I'm thinking big bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
They're even better because what it is like, they looked at Darth Vader and they're like, okay, Darth Vader is like a knight and a samurai and a Nazi shoved together. Okay, we're gonna do that, but with more samurai. So it's like taking Darth Vader's aesthetic and then like pushing it back through the samurai lens. It's fucking awesome. Like, look at the Sonny Chiba plays one of the guys. He plays like the Obi-Wan Kenobi guy. Yeah, these are the main bad guys. That guy's the like Darth Vader-esque main villain.
Yes,
look at that shit.
Awesome. That's dope.
That's amazing. Yeah,
that's a big ass helmet, bro.
Sold.
I have to see this. I absolutely have to see this.
That's dope.
It's amazing. The end of the movie is this giant fight scene in a red throne room that they actually built. So it's this massive red flight of stairs with Sonny Chiba and the guy with the multiple horns, and they're having a laser sword battle up this giant red staircase. So good.
That sounds good.
Is that that what inspired the throne room in 8?
So I just real quick before we move on, while we were talking about the release of Fell, our moderator Glenn, they put this. So I don't get it. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What they said, you wish you had seen my face where here we go. So they were like So they put it at the wrong time because their video was behind, and so that was funny. I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to embarrass them. They're gonna yell at me later. Okay.
So Harley Quinn, I happen to be a big fan of the animated series, but it's getting so at first this news concerned me, and then when I kept reading, I realized it wasn't bad. So it's getting a comic book sequel titled The Eat Bang Kill Tour. And it's gonna pick up right where the second season finale left off, filling in the gap. So at this point, I'm like, cool, but what about the show? Filling the gap between season 2 and season 3 of the HBO Max show. So the show will go on. DC Comics has set Bingo Loves T. Franklin to write the series, with Max Sarin providing the artwork and Taylor Esposito lettering. So, yeah, cool.
My favorite part about this cover, Catwoman, and I'm like,
so embarrassed.
Yeah, like, oh, okay. Attention, horse.
What really screamed out to me is the word "eat," because I feel like it's kind of a counterpoint to Batman in the recent Batman discourse, related to the recent Batman discourse.
How do you mean? No, I don't understand. Can you explain?
No, like eating vagina. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so cool. Good. That's awesome. I love this show. I hope that the humor keeps up in the comic, which I'm definitely going to read. And I'm glad there's a third season.
I don't know why I, for some reason, thought it was like done. Especially with the way that second season ended. That felt like unending, kind of.
Oh, when
like
she
it
died?
they wanted it to
DC
be.
Universe went away.
Oh yeah,
it's because DC Universe went away. So I think because people
it's
assume,
HBO.
Me included. Yeah. There was just an off period of time where DC Universe was going away, and I hadn't read the news about HBO yet. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "Oh fuck, what's going to happen to Harley Quinn?" But she'll be alive and well.
Yep.
Is the person who's doing interiors something Sarin? Did they draw this cover as well? Because I really like the anatomy on this cover.
Yeah, it's Max Sarin, and I don't know if they drew this cover.
Yeah, because I love the like contours of the face shapes. Like I love Batman's little like weird nose on his cowl.
His little mouth.
Yeah, totally. The grimace is really satisfying to me. Also, the eyes and eyebrow shapes on Livewire are very expressive and really cool and fun.
Yeah,
very animated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're all reacting to what's happening. Why is he mad? Well, okay, so the villains. So he's mad because of the villains. Why is Batman mad?
Batman's always mad.
Is he mad, or is that just his like perma frown?
He's
like I'm Batman.
He's like, love.
What do you mean? What do you mean I'm frowning? This is just my face.
He doesn't like to see people be happy.
Yeah. Batman, are you a bigot? All right. Are we ready? You're just gonna have an awkward silence.
No. Sorry.
Next.
Yeah. So this is old news. And we've talked about it. We've talked about it already, but it's exciting enough where I want to go into a little bit more detail. So new X-Men team. So as we depart the dawn of X, we begin the reign of X. Jerry Duggan is going to be writing from #1, the new X-Men series, which totally stoked to read. And they've announced the team, and it's a cool team. So we got like Cyclops and Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, so that's expected. But then we also have Polaris, Wolverine, Laura Kinney, X-23, main title X-Men, Rogue, Sync, and then Sunfire. Holy fuck, Sunfire quit the team back in like giant size #1 and was like never an X-Men again. And he's an X-Men again, so that's pretty cool, I think. And then, according to, I thought this was funny. According to Magic in New Mutants #19, Sunfire will not last a day. So we'll see.
Nice.
I hope that's not the case because I like Sunfire a lot, and his Hellfire Gala costume get up thing was fucking rad looking.
Fire, fire. Yeah,
it was
holy
great.
shit.
Did you read what is it, issues 19 and 20 where Laura and Sync and
they all get announced?
No, where they're all trapped in the other world where the children are, the city, where they're all trapped in the city in air quotes. Did you read those 2 issues? They were the last issue is the Hellfire Gala 21. 19 and 20 are the ones where it's the payoff of the 3rd or 4th issue. It's Sync, Laura Kinney, and Darwin get sent into this weird pocket dimension where there's these characters that are rapidly evolving and developing superpowers. And
yeah. The World. Is it called The World?
Oh, yes. The World. I'm sorry. Yeah. The place that they're like primarily in the world is the city. And I loved that. Like I love Generation X. So seeing Sync running around doing stuff was cool, but also like Sync and Laura Kinney as a couple, I did not know that I loved them, and I didn't know that I needed this, and them like falling in love and her being grumpy and murdering people and him being like, "Oh, I love you." It's just like the best.
Laura Kinney is one of my favorite characters in all of comics. She's just such a well-constructed character, going back to like the what is it called? Fuck, I'm drawing such a huge blank. Yeah, like the original 2005 run where she's in the Weapon X program. Say NYX. What?
NYX?
No, not NYX. After NYX, it was like a prequel to NYX, but it was like her origin.
Yeah.
I know that the writer also writes for The Mandalorian. I'm drawing a huge blank on his name right now. Christopher
Yost.
Reeves.
Yost. Kyle and Yost. The Kyle Yost run. I fucking love that.
Because they created her in
NYX.
No, my friend. That's her first comic appearance. Her first appearance is actually X-Men Evolution. They were staff writers on X-Men Evolution, and she's in like middle of season 2. She pops up as like a one-off villain.
Shit.
And she became so popular. They were like, I guess bring her into the fucking comics. I don't know. Who the fuck cares?
So I remember not loving NYX and like kind of like just not really liking it. But the Kyle Yost like solo series of hers was just like got me hooked. And I had no idea that she had appeared before that. That's crazy. The Marjorie Liu run's good too.
Yes. And also, she's a super nice person, like ridiculously nice.
Really
person.
Nice. Yeah.
We
met her.
So we did too. She tables next to us at San Diego every year. And every year I'm always just like, who are you? This is... You shouldn't be allowed to be you. You're just amazing. You're like a former lawyer, brilliant novelist.
She signed my Monstrous, and then we talked about Red Sonja, the original Red Sonja movie for like a few minutes. Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
She's great. That's awesome.
All right,
cool.
Let's put this.
So this has been the Marjorie Liu cast. I'm your host. Smash that like button,
ladies, gentlemen, and MBs.
Whoa! We got it.
That was the end. No, am I wrong?
He said, "Whoa!"
Everyone is Tulip from Dark Horse Comics. Oh shit! Did I freeze? Am I back?
Yes.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. You're back.
Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, that's
so
what
just
we're
a
gonna
reminder.
Do. We're gonna do the plug.
So a reminder: pick up Everyone is Tulip on June 30th, and definitely check it out. It's pretty awesome. Special thanks to you two for joining us. And if you're watching, if you want to watch us talk about Sandman, it's on the 27th of June. If you want to see Pride or Die, which I highly recommend, it's awesome. It's our newest segment. Check it out on the 25th of June. And then Club Valiant, 2nd of July. It's on a Friday. I know that's a little bit weird. Definitely join us for that as well. And yeah, that's all I got. Do the thing.
I was going to say all that, but ladies and gentlemen, enemies, that is the end of the show. I'll skip all of that stuff because and just say thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Kids love chains.
Kids love change.
Kids love change.
KLC Press. All right. See ya.
Take care.